Hello, this is Pastor Matthew Woods from Grace Lutheran Church in New Albany, Indiana, coming to you on December 4th, 2023. As you can see, the Christmas lights are up. I'm still sitting on my front porch. The weather is beautiful. I'll take it. Anyway, today's title is Making a Good Decision with the Stuff of Life. In the past week, I have encountered a few times where when a decision had to be made without really knowing which direction would be best. And have you ever experienced that? I often find this to be the case all the time with most things. I don't really know how it's going to come out. I just desire something good to happen. Anyway, I have a water softener. Decided that it was tired of its sodium in its diet. Too much sodium. In other words, it's not working anymore. Now, before anyone sends me ways to fix it and suggestions and what they did, I've already tried them probably. So I've been all over the internet and I've tried a number of different things. So after 16 years of softening water, we said goodbye to salty. What to do now, though? So the research began, of course, on water softeners, and I've been asking, what's the best brand? Which one has the lifetime warranty? Of course, none of them. And then I started asking, do I really want to haul the salt bags down into the basement utility room? A trip that gets longer every single year, with bags that get heavier every single trip. The distance and the weight, sort of a factor now. Finally, we came across something we've never tried before, something new for us. So we finally decided on a filtration system that hangs on the wall. It has 3 filters. I picked one and I ordered it on Black Friday so that I got the best deal on it. Of course, I still spent a lot of money. That clobbered our emergency fund. Thank you very much. But voila, now I'm a filtration guy. We're a filtration family. But time will tell if it's actually going to work the way it's supposed to or not. That's the problem with this stuff. Wouldn't it be nice if the Lord would just say, use this particular system, and then I come down off the mountain and I go get it, right? It would be really nice if there was a baseline or a standard by which all other things could be measured, right? A proverb on filters and a book on softeners. That would be so much more helpful. Some kind of direct instinct, if you will. Of course, it gets more serious and challenging with other things, such as health. Wouldn't it be nice to have the right answer every time we have a big health question? Now, a friend of mine made a recent trip to the hospital, to the ER, with trouble walking, headaches, hard to think, balance trouble. When he wondered if it might have been his Parkinson's or an old problem resurfacing or something new. While in the ER, he gets back the MRI showing a potential for what they call NPH, normal pressure hydrocephalus. Great, something else, right? Just what he needs. It was explained very well why the neurologist thought this was the case, and I think they made their case. So now a procedure is offered to release the spinal fluid building up within his system and ultimately in his brain, something to relieve that pressure. But one thing leads to another, right? Long term, the proposal is to, if this is the case, to put a shunt in the brain, up in the head, to drain this stuff out on a regular basis, and it won't build up that way. But the results could potentially bring about a better balance, better walking, clear thinking, relief from the headaches. Now, my friend does not want to go through another procedure, and I don't blame him. My heart breaks for him because so many other things have not worked out as we have hoped. But it doesn't help that doctors also can never give you 100% on anything. They tell you how great it is, but then they kind of back off and say, well, we can't guarantee it. On the other hand, he's decided to try it. Decided to try it because the potential to be free, to be better, is hard to pass up. We will know pretty quickly, according to the doctors, how the procedure will have worked out. But wouldn't it be nice if the Lord would just say to us, this is it, do this. Of course, there isn't a Proverbs on making hospital choices, and there isn't a book on picking the right stuff all the time, and the world just simply can't give us 100% guarantees. And so we place our faith and we place our ourselves in the hands of the Lord. So yes, it would be nice to have a chapter on NPH or water filters. Wouldn't it be nice to have direction on that? But as we all know, not all of our decision making is a question of right and wrong or a question of theology. And making a good decision is not always about the results, as we learn from Scripture. It's about putting your heart in the right place and doing the best you can. Sometimes the stuff of life is what you got to make the decisions on. In fact, most of our stuff is pretty bland when you compare it to the bigger things of spirit. Sometimes decision making for decision is just taking the information for the stuff of life that we have and using it in the time that we have it and applying it the best way we can. A good decision or a bad one isn't really about making a call one way or the other. It's really about being well informed as you possibly can and applying the information the best way you can, seeking out the best outcome that you can go after. It isn't perfect. It isn't our fault either that if the outcome is outside of what we are capable of doing and beyond our options. And so there's a lot there to wrestle with, I understand. But we all wrestle with them. So we do what we can, right? First, such things require a lot of prayer. And this is how I would suggest we approach this stuff. It requires a lot of prayer and consideration. Take it to Jesus, who invites us to take everything to him, to ask, seek, and knock. He invites us to be like the persistent widow who knocks and knocks and knocks for a good outcome. He wants us to talk to him about this stuff. Philippians 4:6 also declares, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving present your requests to God. Ask the Lord for good information and for good advice and for good direction. And yes, ask for a good outcome. The second thing is get out of your bubble. Whoever lives in their own bubble will suck the oxygen out of the room, right? Your own thinking will get the best of you. Can't think without oxygen, by the way. Get out of your own way. Get out and get some advice. Every time I buy a car, I test drive it right straight to my mechanic. So where he puts it on a computer, he looks it over, he tells me the repair history of that particular model, and then I can make a better decision. When it comes to doctors, it's very helpful when all the doctors come together to talk to each other, come up with a universal plan for your health, and then talk to you about that plan. Wouldn't it be nice, right, if they all did it that way? What a concept. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 tells us also to trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your path straight. To lean on our own understanding on anything may not be enough, and that's the point here. It's especially not advisable if we are feeling overwhelmed or not in a good mindset to process the information regarding what's available. Others may be your ears and eyes to see and to hear what you may miss because the weight of your decision is getting hard for you to capture it all. They may also help you weigh the pros and cons, which are also important. There is a risk in everything, so getting godly help is super duper important. So the next one is hope for what is good and be ready for anything. The stuff of this world will still sometimes disappoint us. Well, no kidding, Matt. I live in this world too, right? After all, why do we need warranties if this were not true? 1 Peter 5 says, humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. The Lord cares about you. He cares about how you feel and what's on your mind. Psalm 139. cares that things break and causes trouble. He cares about what you buy and how your body is feeling. If he didn't care, Jesus wouldn't have come at all. He did come. He died on a cross. He was treated unfairly. He was tried by and mockers were cruel and hateful to him. Decisions were made all along the way to tear him down. Decisions that in the long run led to Christ's crucifixion. Jesus went through all of it and endured the cross because we needed him to. He knew this. How you are doing matters to him. Otherwise, why go through so much? Working through hard decisions matter to him, even if they are as regular as buying a filtration system or the right car or choosing which college to go to or which bank to use, all that kind of thing. All of it matters to him, just as much as the big stuff. Jesus says in John 16:33, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world, he says. In Jesus, we have a reason to hope for what is good. We know, right? Because Jesus is bringing that good to us in his cross. He also knows that in this world we have lots of trouble. No kidding. But then he invites us to take heart and have courage in overcoming the world with him. Yep, going to have lots of trouble. Things are going to go wrong, but you will overcome them eventually. This brings me to the last thing, which is courage in the Lord. The same Lord that saves us also promises to be with us even in the smallest measures. And I really like this. Psalm 139 speaks of the Lord knowing every thought and every cell of our body. Luke 12:7 speaks of God counting the hairs on our head. He speaks of God, the word speaks of God looking at us in ways we don't look at ourselves. The smallest measures matter to Jesus too. And I'm saying this again, I realize that, but I want to emphasize this. Everything about you is important to him. Therefore, don't be afraid to make the best decision you can, knowing that he wants the good things for you too. So, make your decisions with care. Honor the Lord with what you can. Save money. Do the best for your body, which is your temple. Consider all your options and using the best information you have. Take the time you need and make the call. That's all we can do. But note that your decision-making process always has a home in the Lord, even in the stuff of life. It all matters. And so I pray in your decision-making that the Lord be with you. Well, thanks for being with me today. I'm glad you could join me. And I pray that the Lord would bless you this week and bless your decision-making in the process, that he would give you good information and that he would help you. And especially in this call process that we're about to get started in for a new pastor down the road. We'll need the Lord in that too. But anyway, the Lord be with you this week, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for being here this morning. Bye-bye.